Hi guys, so I haven't done anything since the last video. This one's going to be another long one again, so if you're not interested in just listening to me blabber on and showing the process of me creating this inventory, then I perfectly understand that this isn't for everyone. And I'm recording this live, so I don't know how long this video is going to be at this moment in time, but you do. So yeah, there's not much going to happen apart from me creating the inventory and messing around with that. There's not going to be action or explosions or anything. So I will label these clearly so you can see what videos to skip if you don't want to see that. So after this inventory is done and finalised and it's all the way I want it, then I'm going to move on to some more fun things then. So there'll be some world building and things like that that's coming next, because I am sick to death of seeing these grey walls and these orange boxes. So after this inventory is done, I've got to build some sort of world to run around in, even if it's just a temporary thing for now, just to get some assets in to see how they look and see how they look with the atmosphere I'm creating and the environment, and just to give it a bit of visual fluff while I'm testing things and working on stuff. So we'll get right back into it. If I can find where I need to be. So inventory item buttons. This is the thing that's added to the scroll box every time I pick something up. Currently, we are picking things up and we can see them in that scroll box. So I'll show you. There it is. First of all, I want to add their names back. I miss having their names on there, so we'll get that done first. That should be a quick and easy thing. So the inventory item button. So this is getting the stack size. So if it's a non-stackable item, it will get its stack size and put it there. I'm probably going to do this all very different, so I'm just going to get rid of all that. Yep, that breaks something straight away. Let's have a look in there. You know what, I'm just going to delete this text box. Yeah, that fixed it. So I'm going to worry about stackable items at some other point. It's going to have some sort of event dispatcher or something on there. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet. And I hate the stackable things, so I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to get this bit done first. So this text block, I think we can add a variable. We haven't got too many variables going on here. The item struct, let's get rid of that. We're not going to have an item struct in here. Is in use. Where are you in use? No results found. Are you lying to me? Well, we'll delete it and we'll see what errors pop up when we compile. Yep, there we go. So button text. Where's that being set? The item quantity text. I don't want that. Button text. That's going to be that text block. I might just delete that text block. Now you should compile. Yes, right. Yeah, we'll just completely start again with that. It's the downside of not completely starting this inventory again. There's some things that I set up in the past that are going to argue with me. So as we go along, I'm probably just going to delete them all as we go. So we'll set that central. Let's get my font back in here. I quite like this font. I wasn't sure on it when I first put it in, but it's grown on me. And on that outline of it. Yeah. So we need to set this text, don't we, somehow? So we make this a variable and we'll call it item name text. And it's a variable. We can do the whole binding thing if we want. Shall we do the binding? Because we can't just drag it out in here and set it, but I think, yeah, we'll bind it. I'll add a variable, item name, and Do we want it a name? Comparing names is faster than comparing strings. Text. Use this as will be shown to the user. Okay, we'll have that one then. I always get confused between the three. So we can have name, string, or text, and as far as I'm aware, they'll all work in this case, but they all have slightly different use cases. So yeah, string is a piece of text. It will work. And I've probably used all three to do the same thing at some point. So if we go in here, it's not add this, not have this as a variable. We can just do the binding. So text bind item name. All right, and we make this exposed on spawn and instanced editable. And over in our inventory component, it bugs me that it doesn't just show up. I don't know if it's something I'm missing, but if I select none and then select inventory item button widget, it's there now. So I'm not sure if that's something I'm doing wrong. If you know the answer, then please leave it in the comments. So if we break this pickup struct, whoops, and we grab the name. See, there we go. Right. So this is a name. This is a text. So straight away I've used the wrong ones. But I think it did say that names are quicker to compare, and I probably will be using that name to compare things at some point. Possibly. I've done it before. I'm not sure if it's something I'll be doing now. Alright, compile, and let's see if that works. Loop container large. Right, okay. Where are you? Because I'm breaking all my old code, everything that uses it is also breaking. So let's find my loop containers. Interactable lights. Where did I put them? Interactable containers. And I'm just going to delete all of them. There really wasn't that much going on there. Apparently got a shelf in the level. So displays, I was toying with the idea of setting something up so you could have like a, I don't know, like display things on the wall so you can put your guns on there, which is going to be something I set up. I play a little bit of Fallout 76 occasionally. I get bored very quickly and delete it again, and then a couple of months later I install it and play for 2 days. What I do like is, I think their building mechanics are great, and I love the fact you can show off some of the things you've got. So you can have these plaques on the wall with your weapons on, and there's little stations where you can put your power armor and stuff. So I was kind of trying to make that with the little display. I didn't get very far with it. I was messing around with other things at the same time, so I didn't really focus on that. Alright, so let's pick up a shotgun, and it's a shotgun. Brilliant. We've got the names working. So, interestingly enough as well, my old system always put the newest item at the top. This system doesn't. It's putting the first item we pick up at the top, which makes sense because that's the first one in the array. Yeah, we've got to look at the size of the letters, I think. Stretching a bit. Yeah, and they don't need to be that big on the screen anyway, do they? That's huge. So like we've got it in the editor at the moment. Like I've got a 30, I think it's a 34-inch 4K monitor, so that's quite enormous on my screen, even with this size. But that's all tweaking things. We don't want to be messing around with tweaking stuff yet. We want to get the functionality built. So that's that. Now I want to be able to press drop. Let's get the simple things that are in the inventory first. So to select those, press drop, and I want to spawn it in the world. How are we going to do that? So there's all our logic for creating everything. Now in my inventory interface, do I have? I do. Drop selected item, drop full stack, drop partial stack. Drop selected item and drop Aren't they the same thing? Alright, so we've got a pickup struct in there. I've got to go into this interface and change some things because so it's got an integer for the partial stack. Full stack's got nothing. Tree from storage, let's delete you. Add to storage, delete you. Set UI to game mode, we'll keep that. That's used in my controller. Just to get the mouse and everything up when I open the inventory. Populate inventory, we are using that. Get rid of whatever you were. Populate container inventory. You know what? I'm not going to mess around with too many of those because they're being used in this, and I'm going to have to come back and reference my old inventory in some ways. So once I've finished looking at this and taking bits of code from it for the new inventory, I'll then clean up my inventory interface, I think. So drop full stack, drop partial stack, drop amount. So if we get rid of the pickup struct on there, is it gonna that compiled? I'm guessing my old inventory won't compile now though. So event drop. So worry about stacked items later because we're not even picking up stacked items correctly right now. So what I'll do, we'll set up this drop and then I'm going to concern myself with having a look about stacked items because we're going to have a branch coming off somewhere. Event pickup's going to have a branch because we're going to have to search our inventory first to see if we have an item that we can stack on top of. And if we do, add the quantities together. If we don't, then we just do this. All right, I can delete that. So on event drop, we need to get the inventory item that we've selected. So inventory item button, when we press this button, it needs to be set in a variable somewhere. So how are we going to do this? So first of all, get the button unclicked. It's going to have to I think whether we're dropping or equipping or anything, anytime we click one of those buttons, it needs to be sending a message to the component to say we've selected this item. So I think first we'll get that little message set up and then worry about the drop. Small steps. Small steps. So these buttons don't currently know about this component, do they? That's one issue. Do you think we should set a variable when we create it, these buttons? Owning player is player controller. No, that's not going to help. So I think we can add in the buttons, we can add a variable and we'll call it inventory controller. Reference. And it'll be an inventory component version 2 object reference. We'll have it exposed on spawn, instance editable, and then we do a little trick here again, don't we? And there it is. So we can do a self on that. So now each one of these buttons knows exactly where to send messages to. It has a reference to this blueprint. So we can, do we want to do it on an interface? So look what we've got in our interfaces. Have I done this already? No, let's make a new one. Inventory item selected. Inventory button selected. That's more specific. And I think if we have an integer, we just have the inventory index. Is that all we're going to need? Well, that's all the information we're storing in that button, so that really should be all we need. Hopefully. So back in the inventory button, when it's clicked, it's going to send that message. So inventory button selected. I don't know if I've got any interfaces set up in here. Sorry, you want a target, don't you? So get the index, get. I already had a variable, but that was for the old inventory. I'm going to deprecate that. Right. So yeah, it's just going to send that index to the controller, so we know what item in there we are referencing. Event inventory button selected. So we get our array now. We can do a find. No, we don't want to find, do we? What is it? I always forget which one's which on these. Utilities, array. Get a reference, that's it, isn't it? So when we click that button, we're going to get a reference. And to start with, I'm just going to print a string. I want to see if this works. And break the struct, and I'm going to shove the name in there. So every time we click on one of the buttons, it should give us the name of the thing we're selecting. Pick up a few things. Assault rifle, sniper, rocket, it's working. Right, that's working as intended. And we need to do a little bit more than just print a name, don't we? So get rid of you. Think. Should we save this into another variable? Let's do it. Throw it to variable. And for some reason I cannot have a mic in front of my face and type at the same time. I don't know why. It's like I'm concentrating on the mic even though I'm not actually talking sometimes. Inventory struct selected. So I'm going to start adding some notes. I'm not very good at adding notes. I tend to do it all after, which means I don't remember what everything is, and I have to read it all and figure out what it's all doing. So right, we press a button and it's going to set this, which is great. Then if that's set, let's get that inventory struct selected. Can you not do a valid on a struct? This might be a Google job. I thought you could just do it and is valid on that. I suppose as well. No, we don't. I was going to say we could do with an is valid here to check if there's anything within that array, but if we're clicking on the button, there is something in that array. If there isn't, we've got bigger problems. So yeah, I'm not sure how to do an is valid on this. I mean, we could break it and then do. No, you can't do an is valid on that. I'm going to quickly Google that one. So yeah, I think I was on the right lines for break the struct. And then I can do an is valid on something in here. So if I do reference to self, that's always going to be automatically set anyway. So I don't want to do it on that because that should always be valid, I think. Let's try on the mesh. It seems like a dirty way of doing it. I'm not too keen on what's going on here. It'd be nice to know if this variable was just set here. And if it wasn't set, then it's a shame we have to break it open and do this. But if it works, then it's fine. So if that is valid on the event drop, we are going to can we get owning actor? Get owner. All right. Actor object reference. Get actor location. Trying to figure out where we're going to drop this thing to. Because if it is valid, we're going to have to spawn an actor from class, and the class will be in there. That's it. Yeah, we've got to break this anyway to get the class to spawn. So yeah, it's not actually looking so bad that we've broke this for the valid. Transform split U. I'll just look at the owner and what exactly that means, but use for replication. So again, I'm not anywhere near as clued up as I should be on multiplayer systems, so I'm not going to worry about anything like that for now. If I do decide to try and tweak this to a multiplayer, then I might start looking at things, but I think by the time I get to that stage, I would have done so much on the project that it's going to be almost impossible to do anything multiplayer wise. So get actor location and forward vector. I think we come from there, wouldn't it? Get actor forward vector. So I want to add something to this. I want it to spawn in front of the player. So I'm just going to make a literal int, I think. It's not something I want to change for any reason at any point, so rather than clogging up my blueprint with more variables, let's just make the int. So I'm going to add that. What do we want to times? Look at my player and we times it by 500 there. We want to times, don't we? Yeah. Do we? Yeah, we will. Watch this spawn and just be over the other side of the map now. So get forward vector, and will that be the spawn transform, or do we have to do something with the location? I feel like we have to do something with the location as well. We'll add the location to it. And we'll see how this happens now. So this shouldn't adjust the height, it should just spawn right in front of us, I think. if all this works. Let's see. Or just not at all. Did it spawn somewhere weird? No errors. Event drop. I didn't do anything with the drop in the inventory widget, did I? No. Where's the drop button? Unclicked. Alright, let's do some of this drop button then. So, this is going to need a reference. Get owning play. I don't want that. I don't want much of this happening in anywhere but the component, really. Keep it all in one place so when it goes wrong I know where to go. So I think when we create this as well, we've got that there. I'm going to deprecate that too. That goes when I delete the other inventory. So we're going to add a variable. And what did I call it in the item button? I want it the same. Inventory controller reference. And version 2. And what are you doing? Oh, it's just saying I deprecated it, that's fine. But I quite like doing it that way because it's a nice reminder. You come into the blueprint, do some stuff, and it's like you've got something you don't want to use anymore because you told us you don't want to use it. So do something about it. So yeah, I'm probably going to use that a lot more now. It's the first time I've ever deprecated something, so it's nice to see that it does call you out on it. So with this, we want instance editable and exposed on spawn. All right. Again, doing it this way means that the things I'm doing can only be done between the widget and this particular controller. It kind of limits my freedom in some ways, but because inventory controller reference. Sorry, I've just realized what I'm saying. It's not a controller, is it? Where's my inventory controller reference? It's a component, not a controller. Yeah. Component. So yeah, doing it this way means that it's only this particular component and this inventory that can interact, but because I'm making it in a component, I can just throw this in anything that I want to have an inventory. So if I can possess different pawns in this project, then as long as I put this component in there, it will just work. Right. Yeah, definitely don't want to say controller there because it will confuse me later. So yeah, that's all instance stuff. It's back in the component when we create the inventory. So I could have put just own in player, but I'm not sure that would work if I just, yeah, I can't do self there because the self would be this component. It's a shame you can't do owning blueprint or owning actor or something like that rather than owning player, because I presume this is going to be a pawn or the controller, yeah. So I don't want this to happen much in the controller. What are you arguing about? It's because I changed the name, isn't it? Right. So now we know where we're sending the drop message to from the inventory widget. So if we actually pull out of that, drop. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, it didn't even open the inventory. What have I broke there? I'm not going to read you. Not for a second. Inventory component. How? Oh, there we go. So I don't know how I broke that so dramatically, so easily. There we are. It's there. So if I drop, there's our sniper rifle. Now we can still drop more of them and pick them back up. Yep, loads of sniper rifles. That's exactly what we want. So all that's working as expected. I think it's probably not something I'm going to leave on, but I'm going to enable physics. Why can't I enable actor object reference, blah, blah, blah? Let's have to cast to something, or do I have to get the mesh? Can I get the mesh straight from the actor? I'm going to have to cast, aren't I? Let's see if this works. I might not leave this in, I'm just messing right now. Says simulate physics, static mesh. Yeah, that's why I had to do it with a cast. Because this is just an actor reference, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll go for simulate. Sorry, is my phone doing something? But it's, yep, nothing important. So does this work? Yeah. Which I'm quite happy with. I like the way it just, yeah, it drops. Might kind of check its velocity or something and then disable physics. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it on for now. It's fun to kick it around. And rather than... Because I was thinking it'd be nice to disable physics again, because it might get a bit laggy if I've dropped loads of items, but generally, like most games, if you drop an item, it's kind of got a timer on it, so it might disappear after 5 minutes or so. So yeah, I'll leave this with physics enabled, and then have a look at putting a timer on it or something later on. It's nothing important now, and it's nothing difficult to implement either. So I'll make those decisions at some other point in time. Simulate physics. Should we add an impulse? Can we do that from here? Add impulse. It'd be nice to look like it's been thrown or something. This isn't necessary, is it? I'm getting sidetracked here. There's much more important things to do than throw something when I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Get forward vector, and we're going to multiply this by an int. Let's put it quite large and see where it looks. This might just be launching it across the level right now. Let's see what happens there. Oh. That didn't do anything, did it? I'm sorry about that bleeping sound. That is annoying as hell, isn't it? Okay, that was a shame. What am I doing wrong here then? Velocity change. Let's try that. Let's read it. Yes, if true, the strength is taken as a change in velocity instead of an impulse, i.e. mass will have no effect. Okay. I think that means it'll work. Yes. That's great. Alright, I like it. I think we need to calm it down a little bit. Is 100 too much? I don't really know what these units represent when it comes to impulses. I don't know if it's just some arbitrary number. No, that wasn't quite enough, was it? I'm getting very distracted with this. That's about right, I think. And I think also to make it a bit more interesting, when they spawn, how about we don't always spawn them in the same rotation? So we'll get a random. Can you get random rotator? Oh, yeah, you can. Random rotator. I don't know what the optional random roll is. Yeah, let's tick it. There we go. I kind of want a bit of a dodgy way. Ah, right. Yeah, problem with our impulse. It's getting the forward vector, isn't it? So the forward vector is changing because we've got this random rotator on there. So yeah, it's like shooting them different ways, but I don't mind that. I'm okay with that. Let's get the pistol. That might fly a bit better than these large rifles. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, right. Let's focus again now. So I'm going to collapse a lot of this into a function, I think, because this works exactly as I need it to now. I can't imagine changing any of this. And I can just get the inventory struct in there again. Do I want to do that, or should I do it from here? I'll do it. Collapse function. We'll say dropping, yeah. Let's give that input pin a name. Class ref for spawn, that'll do. So now we've got a nice little function, nice little neat graph. So we can use that wherever we want now, because there's going to be a few ways to drop items, especially when it comes to stackable things. It's going to get annoying if we had to put that all over the place or have custom events linking back to this to do this again. So now we can just put this dropping item wherever we need to. So I don't know if there's anything else I can collapse to a function, but I don't think I'm going to be using that again, am I? I will be, but I'll have a look at that later on. So now a dropping item, we need to remove it from our array next, don't we? So get the array and remove item. We would, it's just that, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll remove that item from the array. Let's do a print string just to make sure it's gone. Oh, let's plug you in. true, yes. I press it again, it's false because it had already removed it. Perfect. Exactly what we wanted. Oh, was it though? Hang on, let's do that again. So, shotgun. First time I press drop, it should say true. It does. Second time, it should say false. It does. Pistol. First time should say true. False. Right. Okay, we've got an issue. It knows we've got an issue. Yeah, it's just saying that it didn't find that in the array after we'd removed it. So I think instead of this, it should be this, shouldn't it? And if that's the case, I think instead of this, it should be the index we're saving. Or do I want to do that? Let's do it. So let's rename you to inventory index selected. There's always a lot of me doing things and then redoing them again. Change variable type, that's going to screw so much up. I should have maybe disconnected a few things before I done that. Alright, let's get rid of you. So now all this selected thing is doing is setting that so we know what index we have selected to manipulate and do what we want with later. This is going to have to be a get a reference. And remove. Then, so this getting a reference and all this is probably going to end up as a macro rather than having this all over the place all the time, because I probably will be using this a lot. For example, we're going to be using it right here. So we want that going in there, and I'm still not sure about this is valid. Yeah, I'm not happy about that is valid, I don't think. Oh, no, it's easy now, isn't it? Oh, that crashed. Alright, so I'm back after that crash. Crashed a couple of times, and I found that every time I lost everything, by the way. Well, not everything, but everything I'd done for the drop-in, I'd lost. Every time I tried to change that variable type and compile, it just crashed, even though that variable type wasn't actually being used anywhere, especially the second time I tried to do it. So I've done away with the impulse for now. It just sets the simulate physics, so it just drops it in front of the player. I haven't looked back at what I was recording before, so I'm pretty sure this was set up the same way, but it works anyway, so I'm happy with it. So yeah, I'm going to collapse this down to a function again, and because this is perfectly fine for what we want to do. And now we want to remove it from the array. Remove index, remove item at given index from the array. That's exactly what we want, isn't it? Okay. And this is our index. when I first started working with arrays, I didn't have the slightest idea what to do. I was like, okay, we're storing multiple things in that box. How the hell am I going to get them out, get any information from them? But the more you work with them, the more it just seems natural, like what you do with for loops and things. It's actually quite easy. Also started working recently with maps as well. So on here we've got the map. That's probably going to be using that maybe for my equipped weapons. There was something else I thought of earlier I could use a map for. I've really liked using it. So if you don't know what a map is, there's two variables within a map. And when you select map, I won't do it on this one because it's going to freak out and crash on me again. The first variable is the key, and the second variable is the data. So each one of them can be whatever variable type you want. So what I'd done previously was have the key as an enumerator, and then the data as a struct. So the enumerator was like gun type. So if you can have only like, think of like a Doom style. So you can have like a pistol, a shotgun, machine gun, rocket launcher. So there's your 4 types. So there'll be 4 places. It's not like an array where you can store as many as you want in there. With a map, you can store as many as you can, or as many as you have keys for. And you can think of the key as like the contents page of a book, and then the data is the words that are written on that page. So it's really easy to pull information out and find it. I probably didn't explain that very well, but you will see later in another video maybe me using a map, and I'll go through a bit more in depth in that one. That, like I say, just recently discovered it and I really enjoyed messing around with them. So let's test this. Remove index. Removes item at given index from the array. Now, the other one had a little node coming off this that we could check. So if I remove all instances of item from array, right, that's what we done last time, wasn't it? And that wasn't good for us. Remove all elements in an array from a set. That we're not messing with sets. So I think this is what we're looking for, although I can't debug it as such. What I can do is we'll debug it this way. We will print string. I'll print string when we press drop, and then we'll do exactly the same thing once we drop the item. And hopefully there'll be a difference in that number, because this length should have changed after we've dropped something. Let's try that. Yeah. But was that in the wrong order? Right, it is zeros. That should be correct by now, because we've dropped 2 things and we only had 2 things picked up. So if I pick up another thing, sniper rifle, drop that. And as you can see, when we open and close our inventory, that goes because we've removed it from the array. So that does make sense. So if I pick up 2 things and drop one of them, it's working. Brilliant. Okay, ignore all that. That's me messing around. So let's get rid of you and you. So a lot of those errors are probably going to be because we're trying to remove something from the index that doesn't actually exist anymore. But it's good to know that, yeah, that is working as expected. What I'm thinking though is running a couple of options here. So we need to remove the button from the inventory when we press drop, not just when we open and close the inventory. One answer to that would be to open and close the inventory every time we drop it. I wonder if there's going to be like any delay, like will you see the inventory flashing in and out, or would it be instantaneous? Should we try it out? So first of all, I can just for testing, I'll copy and paste all that. So what we want to do is close the inventory, then open it, don't we? When we drop an item. So let's just add all this on there. This is messy as hell, but so got the inventory open. We're going to drop the pistol. Right. Why aren't you populating? The inventory doesn't flash or anything there, does it? Why isn't the item name in? Oh, right. That's all that was. Didn't copy that one node or something. It's perfect. I am more impressed with that than I thought I'd be. Okay, that is great. So if I open it up again and start hammering drop, am I going to get a lot of errors because there's nothing there to drop? Let's pick something up, select it, and drop a load of times. Yes, of course I am. Right. Set simulate physics, drop an item, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's trying to do all that stuff, even if we haven't got anything selected. But I'm really happy with how that just worked out. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't want to collapse this whole thing to a function. Where did I start with the inventory? It's here, isn't it? So let's delete all you. Let's make some more functions. Keep things nice and tidy. So this is opening inventory, isn't it? And this is close. This is some of the neatest coding I've done ever, but that's mainly because I've hidden it in functions. And I'm probably going to turn this into a macro just to make it a little bit more neater, and that will get used a lot. So rather than making this every time, just have a little macro for it. So now if I close inventory and then open inventory, that should be exactly what we were just doing before. Just looks a bit cleaner, doesn't it? Yep. Perfect. No errors because I didn't spam the drop button this time. So we do have to do something about that, don't we? But we're on 50 minutes on this video, so I think I'll probably leave it there. And the next one will be, I don't know, well, it's fixing that error to start with. It's probably just going to be some sort of is valid check. Yeah, it will be an is valid check. And then I suppose I've got to tackle the stackable items. Yeah, I put that off for long enough. So I looking on the Discord and various other videos and things as well. I think stackable items is an issue for a few people. So I'll try and go through as much detail as possible with stackable items. This is kind of just me nattering on and about random things while I'm doing it. So I'll see if I can focus a little bit more when it comes to the stackable items, because I know it is a challenge. I've done it a few times now, and it's worked every time with various different methods. So I'll take you through whatever method I'm going to decide to use for this one. It's probably going to be something completely different again. It seems to be different every time I make things. So, and thanks for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too much, and if you got to this point in the video, well done. Speak to you next time.